Hey, what's up, guys? This is Mansplaining Mike. This is the Mansplaining Mike Show, and today we're doing a little bit more of a deep dive into Ryan Routh to see what we can uncover. Ian Carroll did a great one too. I have a clip of him in the end and his deep dive that he did into it. But I think it's important to point out that the media is lying to us. They keep trying to say that he's on the right. He can't be on the right. I have a million posts of him proving that he's on the left, the different articles and all that type of stuff. And not only that, I have evidence I think would link him to the CIA or some type of a three-letter agency or some type of military corps that we have here in the United States. But he's definitely not a private citizen from what he's been saying online. And I mean, if I was to say this stuff online, my door would be getting kicked in. There's no doubt about that. The police wouldn't let me get away with saying this type of stuff. I don't think it's right that they were allowing him to if he's supposed to be a private citizen, which I highly doubt. But here you go. Here's some of the evidence right here. You can see that he was making posts on his Twitter feed asking that Afghan soldiers come and fight and help out in the Ukraine. He also asks for Haiti later on, for them to help in Haiti. So he's over here recruiting soldiers for foreign armies, and you're telling me that he's allowed to move back to this country and become a citizen of this country? That's insane, guys. I don't understand it. I don't even understand why we allow for dual citizenship. You should have to give up any foreign citizenship you have when you come to the United States of America. Because if not, we have no evidence that you're loyal to this country. He went and fought for the Ukraine. He didn't fight for the United States Army. So what kind of loyalty do you think he has to us? He would obviously put his loyalties to the Ukraine first. And then here's a video of him doing commercials with BlackRock, just like Thomas Matthew Crooks was doing. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I just can't trust that all of this happens to be a coincidence.
The action is to appeal to what leaders, what organization.
My name is Brian DeLallo. I teach AP and Honors Economics in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Financial well-being to me is knowing that I can be free to do the things that I love to do. I hope when I retire someday, they say, that guy made this place a special place to come to school and gave as much as he could to help the community.
There you guys have it. Both of them were in BlackRock commercials. Two separate commercials, but both were in BlackRock commercials for sure. I just want to know why the news doesn't report on this stuff. It takes private journalists like me to come out here and do it. I don't even know if I'd be considered a private journalist. I don't have a press pass or anything. I don't have a big following or any of that. I just take it seriously. If I'm going to listen to the news, I want to know what's actually going on. I don't want to go out here spreading lies and misinformation like all these liberals do, and then they get mad at us for telling the truth. They call the truth disinformation. Here's more proof that Ryan was definitely on the left. You can see that he was a proud dad and proud LGBTQ plus man. I don't see how you can be both at the same time. I mean, sissies don't have kids. You can't make kids playing what in the butt. You know what I mean? Like that shit, it just doesn't happen. It's silly. So he says he's an LGBTQ. He's also a father, which means his kids are probably all screwed up. And then we have more from his social media posts where he's still asking more people, or this one he's going at Donald Trump. He's just attacking them, saying that they should make America Democrat and free. We're not even a Democrat. We're not a democracy. You know what I mean? These people are so out of it. They don't even know what kind of government we have. And this is type of stuff you learn in third grade. We have a constitutional republic. It says it right in the Constitution. I don't know. These people seem to be mentally defective, half brain dead. Something is wrong with these people who keep on trying to call America a democracy. We're not that. I'm so tired of hearing that word. We're a democracy. Save our democracy. We didn't want to become a democracy because democracy is ran off of mob rule. Here's more of him reaching out to foreign soldiers, trying to get them to join up to fight in the Ukraine or help the Haitians. I mean, he's definitely not America first. So this idea that he's a radical Trump supporter, that's nonsense. And I was able to dispel this. I don't have millions of dollars at my disposal to pay people to do this type of stuff for me. I'm one person in my house who learned from my friend how to do this, and I'm doing it all on my own. I mean, if I can do this, I know that the news organizations that are like billion-dollar companies would be able to figure out more than I would. I mean, they would be able to pay people to do this type of research. Here's another story from a different news agency. Let's get into that and see what we think. See if he sounds like a radical rightist.
Neighbors say there were warning signs here. Routh was a local roofer who neighbors say mostly kept to himself. Property records show he lived in this house here behind me. It's been vacant for quite some time, but neighbors say while he did live here, it wasn't uncommon to see police activity outside his home. I went to the Guilford County Courthouse to dig into his criminal past and found several felony convictions dating back to the early 2000s, including possession of a weapon of mass destruction in 2002, according to court records. According to local media reports, Routh was arrested in 2002 for barricading himself inside United Roofing, a company that shares the same address as Routh and many of his relatives. News reports at the time of the incident show after the barricading incident, Routh was charged with the same convictions I uncovered, but I'm still working to confirm that connection.
I was really surprised when they told me that.
Elaine Mungo, Ruth's next-door neighbor, couldn't believe he's a suspect in an assassination attempt, telling me he was always quiet and reserved.
Were they a nice family? Did they seem normal?
Yeah, I didn't know nothing was going on.
Neighbor Josh Patrick, though,
so it's kind of like a strange guy.
Wasn't so surprised to hear the latest allegations, telling me he'd see Routh pacing in the road late at night and said Routh would occasionally follow him home.
Behaviors were just really strange. Like, he would walk past here really quickly. Like I said before, kept pace with me for no reason, had no reason to be out at midnight.
Did he ever say anything about Trump or Ukraine or anything like that?
No, he's a very, very quiet person. And he was very, like I said, jumpy, reserved, didn't really speak out loud too much. And
yeah, guys, but he's on the right. He was a Trump supporter, according to the mainstream media, who doesn't do any type of work to confirm what they're talking about. They just run with the first story they hear. They don't do any research. If I'm able to do it, like I said, these $1 million organizations, they could definitely do it. Right now, I don't even think I'm worth $100,000, and I'm able to figure out all this information. It's just laziness.
Campaign finance records, a donation of $100, more than $100 to Act Blue, which processes donations to Democratic campaigns. He had registered as an unaffiliated voter, that is without a party affiliation in 2012, but he had voted in the March 2024 Democratic primary.
That's crazy. Look, it didn't take me any time. I'm uncovering the truth. We know now that he's a Democrat. You don't donate hundreds and hundreds of dollars to Democrats, which I think ended up equaling out to more than 1,000 over the years, and to different campaigns too. So he was just giving Democrats all his money, but we're supposed to believe he was part of the radical right.
From Canada, from everywhere in South America, every place.
Europe.
Europe, everywhere. We need everybody here. You know, if you have no skills, just come. You know, we need to be cheerleaders. Just being here and saying, hey, I support the Ukrainians, and I support human rights, and I support good and generosity and caring and kindness and altruism. And it's just, you know, we need to show the world that we care. And it's essential. You know, if you don't do any work at all, just being here and supporting and showing them that we care for our fellow human beings is the most important thing we can do.
Isn't that about the stupidest thing you hear? If you cared about your fellow human beings, you would care about the Russians too. He's talking about getting people into a war. If you're in a war, you're shooting at people. So you're trying to say that you care about the people on one side, but not both sides. So he doesn't care about people. He wants to start a war or get other people involved in the war. He's asking to get you killed, basically. And he's telling you that he cares about you and he's humane, while he's trying to get you to sign up to get killed. To protect somebody else's borders, though. What about our borders? If he cares about borders so much, why isn't he on our border? Why isn't he in Texas protecting our border? If that's what he wants to do, is go to war to protect borders. So un-American. This isn't any type of right-wing philosophy that I've ever heard of. At least not the America First philosophy. Now, maybe it is some type of a rhino Republican philosophy, but those guys are just Democrats too. Nobody cares about that stuff.
Driver! Take 2 steps to your right! Take 2 steps to your right!
Come back.
Driver! Walk straight back! Keep walking!
Keep that long. Keep going,
Also, guys, before we get into this next video that Ian Carroll did, it's a great video. I just want to make clear that the weapon of mass destruction that he caught with was just an automatic rifle. It's not a weapon of mass destruction at all. In fact, I believe it's covered by the Second Amendment and the 1903 Dick Act, where it said very clearly that we're supposed to have access to the same weapons as the military in case our borders are ever invaded. They in fact say that it's a duty of ours to do so. Like, it's a duty of every able-bodied man over the age of 18 to carry the same weapons that an invading military would have, or any weapons we would have to use to be able to defend ourselves against a tyrannical government. So anyway, guys, this is the Ian Carroll clip. This is about 6 minutes long. I hope you guys stay tuned to the end, but if not, I understand.
So the new Trump assassin just dropped, and there's some spicy details already. Ryan Routh, very strange guy who's lived a very strange life. And this time, the internet was wise and archived all of his socials as much as possible before the FBI took it all down. So here's some basics on what we know about him, and one really interesting rabbit hole about who he might be. Right off the bat, though, it's super early. This is all speculative. Take your time, pump the brakes. We're just digging through dirty laundry. We don't know what sticks yet. But this guy is a private American citizen who traveled to Ukraine on his own dime, to help recruit civilian soldiers to fight for Ukraine and Afghan special forces. He was like recruiting on his Facebook page. Here's an archive of all of his tweets that look pretty damn automated to me. They pretty much all look like this. In a past life in Hawaii, he apparently ran this company that made a single tiny home and a single Facebook page and never did anything else with it. Super weird. But I grabbed everyone that he followed on Twitter before they deleted it. He only followed 60. And right down at the bottom of that list, which I think indicates his first follow, is this girl named Sue Kim, who is ex-CIA, along with some other very interesting things. Now again, reminder, this is just speculation, digging through Twitter dirt. Maybe this chick is just a wonderful, patriotic person that's helping America. Who knows? But her account is private, meaning why does he follow her? I've been digging around, and one of my followers said that they found her in the people that follow him back. I have not been able to confirm that for myself because they took the account down. If you've got a video of the 1.2 thousand followers that followed him, that would be great to know. He says that she was at the bottom of his followed list, meaning that she followed him right when he made the account. That would make sense, seeing as she's at the bottom of his following list of who he follows too. I mean, every asset needs a handler. And when you go through some of these other affiliations here, you get what is essentially the CIA training grounds at Johns Hopkins University. It explores the relationship between politics and the many kinds of military power, from the use of terror by small non-state groups to the threatened use of nuclear weapons. Its director is John McLaughlin, who is literally an ex-acting director of the CIA and ex-deputy director of the CIA. 3-decade career at the CIA. David is third on the list of people at the top of this institution at the university. 30-year career in Army Special Forces, various special operations, invading various countries, as well as Operation Enduring Freedom. You get the idea. Anyways, Rand Corporation. That's a military-industrial complex think tank, kind of like the Atlantic Council. And LMI org. Yeah, that's like a military-industrial complex education and training program as well. Preliminary findings on the internet when you search our homeboy, the shooter, show his arrest record, including in 2002, possession of weapons of mass destruction, Class F felony, along with 3 other blocks of things like possession of handguns or concealed weapons and driver's license stuff. And yeah, that sounds like some operative shit to me. But again, we don't know any of this yet. We're just digging through dirty laundry on the internet. It's hard to tell what's real. But this is a photo of the weapon he used and the setup he had. People are speculating it looks an awful lot like, Russian-Ukrainian class of rifle. He's doing these weird recruitment ops in Ukraine for civilians. Well, he's like posting on his Facebook all the time to like no followers about how he's recruiting hundreds of civilians to fight for Ukraine. Like, posting for like Afghan special forces to contact him so they can come fight in Ukraine. But he's like just a random citizen from Hawaii. And one of the 60 people he follows is this CIA gal that allegedly follows him back. That looks an awful lot like a handler or a contact. His account looks an awful lot like a bot or an MK Ultra or a Pato. Who knows what the hell this is? His criminal record looks an awful lot like what you might expect a kind of guy in this kind of line of work to leave behind. And then there's the weird video evidence getting turned up.
Officials in Kyiv simply aren't interested in recruiting them.
Ukraine is reluctant to be cooperative.
That's Ryan Routh, a U.S. citizen who set up the International Volunteer Center in Ukraine to help connect foreigners to Ukrainian military units.
Now I'm talking to over 100 soldiers every day, and pretty much everybody, all of my contacts in Ukraine, they were adamant and pretty much yelled at me every time that I suggested that we bring in Afghans.
The Ukrainian government didn't respond to our request for comment, but a source close to the officials in Kyiv told Semaphore that their top concern is the question of loyalty in the thick fog of war.
The biggest thing is spies. They're afraid that anybody and everybody is a Russian spy.
Shout out to some bitch I know on X, who currently has one of the best archives of all of his socials and accounts. There's a lot of other people doing good work right now. And again, I just want to clarify. I'm not trying to pretend like I've solved the case or like we know what's going on. We just have learned by now that the FBI is going to just cover everything up. And so it's up to us to try to dig everything out before they do. So that's what we're doing. And yes, it's ridiculous that that is even a set of sentences we have to say in America in 2024 when someone tries to kill the former and future president of the United States of America. And I mean, I can only imagine who might be backing up these operations to try to shoot him and who might be providing the intel and the access and the cover-ups, etc. So last thing I'll say, Ryan Routh, he's currently in custody. He was driving away in an SUV. They caught him. He's alive for now. And I just want to remind us all, Ryan Routh did not kill himself. If cameras malfunction outside of his cell, if he has a weird slipping accident, whatever happens, yeah, you know the story. 50 more days, my money's on at least one more attempt before we get there. So stay frosty, because the war machine desperately needs the wars to escalate, and they're not down with the MAGA Maha folks shutting down the wars. And they are ready to kill people, ready to assassinate, allegedly, apparently, theoretically, just jokingly, in order to perpetuate those wars.
Well, guys, it seems like he uncovered a lot of the stuff I was talking about. Like, I really believe that he worked for the CIA. He seems like he had handlers, according to Ian Carroll. But he said he's not sure either. I can't be positive. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. And from what I'm seeing, I mean, there's no question to me that he had to be CIA. Because like I said, you don't walk around and say these things and get away with it. Not only that, but look at the crimes he committed. He got caught with multiple guns. One of them they considered a weapon of mass destruction, which was a fully automatic rifle. Look, when I was 17 years old, I usually don't talk about my past, but when I was 17 years old, I was living on the east side of Detroit. There was murders happening there almost every day. So when I was 17, I went out and I bought a pistol. Later on that year, the police caught me. They caught me with the pistol. I ended up facing 5 years. I got probation. But that was for one handgun. So imagine if I would have had a rifle, a fully automatic rifle. I would have been doing at least 10 years. I wouldn't have got off on probation if I would have had more than one gun. He got caught with multiple guns, and he already seemed like he was a felon. So somebody stepped in there and got those cases handled for him. It wasn't just like a regular lawyer. Nobody's going to be able to get people off of these cases. There's mandatory minimums right now. And a lot of the gun laws, they're illegal. I'm not saying that these are the right gun laws for the government to be pushing. They're definitely not. They're violating our Second Amendment. But the thing is, everybody goes to jail for the same amount of time for having guns, especially if you have a fully auto. Anyway, guys, this was Mansplaining Mike. This was the Mansplaining Mike Show. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and share, guys. And I'll catch you on the next one.